Hey booktube, this is my first video I'm filming for my booktube. I have a book talk with my sister and I think we're gonna also just film some videos, like longer form videos on here as well, because we never can think of ideas to do for a book talk, and all of the ideas like that I have are just longer form videos, because when I'm watching book content I'd rather watch it on YouTube than TikTok. So here's my first booktube video. I'm gonna be doing the mid-year, what's it called? The mid-year book freakout tag. This was made in 2022, just because we're pretty much halfway through the year, which is crazy to think about, that we're halfway through 2023. Like, I feel like it just started. All of the questions have 2022 in them, so I'm just gonna replace it with 2023. So the first question is best book you've read so far in 2023. But I actually have two books. They're kind of tied, like I like one more than the other, but they're very like different books that I feel like I can't put them on the same playing field. I also have not read these questions, so all of the answers like are not thought out. Like I don't have any books next to me, so these are like raw reactions and like the first book that comes to mind when I think of this question. So the first one is A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is part of the ACOTAR series. I read the whole series this year, I believe, and this was my favorite one of the whole series, like definitely. A lot of people like the second book the best, A Court of Mist and Fury, but this one's so good. It's just so good. Like it has everything in it that you could ever want from a fantasy. Good romance, good plot, a lot of politics. I think I've learned that with fantasy I like to have a good amount of politics in it, because it makes me connect with the world and connect with the characters better when I kind of understand the stakes that they're going through, like the stakes that they have. And this book definitely has high stakes. It was just a really good book. I liked it. Definitely tied for first place. Then the next book I actually don't have with me because I'm letting my mom borrow it and she's reading it right now. This is like a totally different genre, totally different from ACOWAR, and it is Daisy Jones and the Six. I read this a couple months ago, maybe like 2-3 months ago, and I loved it. Like I've never felt the emotions and the connection to a book ever like that. And it's crazy because I am very much a romance reader, like romance and then like, what is it called, romantasy, like romance fantasy, and Daisy Jones and the Six isn't like that. It's really just a literary fiction. Of course it has like everything in it. I raved about it so much. I called my mom or my sister, I can't remember which one, but they were both in the room, and I was bawling my eyes out at the end of that book. Like I was hyperventilating. I was trying to read them like a paragraph of it that made me cry, hyperventilating, couldn't get any words out. I bawled my eyes out to this book, but when I read Daisy Jones I was literally hyperventilating. I think the reason I connected so much to it is because right when I finished the book, I think I finished the book in like a day, and right when I finished it I started I think it's on Hulu. I started the Hulu series and I watched it all in a day, in the same day. Like it was like back-to-back book, TV show, and I think that's why I connected to it so much, is because my whole day was just filled with Daisy Jones and the Six, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I loved every second of the book. I loved every second of the TV show. It was so good. It was so good. I can't be talking about every question for this long. This freaking video is gonna be forever. All right, question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2023. Is a sequel like the second book in a series or just like a series? I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with series because, am I dumb? I don't even know why I'm thinking about it. I know what I'm gonna say, but all my answers are gonna be like the same books and it's just gonna be so boring. But I want to be honest. The best series I've read in 2023 is ACOTAR. Like, come on, that series is so good. My 2 favorite series of all time has to be Addicted Callaway and then ACOTAR. but I read Addicted Calloway, like most of Addicted Calloway last year, so I can't really put it in this one. ACOTAR, it was so good. Like, the whole series of this, come on, come on. I told my boyfriend last night, I was like, if I literally could erase any memory or any moment of my life, it would have to be me reading that series, just so I could read it again for the first time and have those feelings, because nothing has measured up to it since I finished that series. Okay, question number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but you want to. Probably Happy Place by Emily Henry. I don't really like Emily Henry that much, if I'm gonna be honest. I tried to read like 2 of her books, I think, and I DNF'd both of them. Like, I just couldn't get into it. But I think it's because I was always going into her books thinking they were romance books, because that's what everyone would say, but they're not really. And I heard Destiny Sidwell talk about it, like another booktuber. I heard her talk about it in the podcast she has with Sarah, and she was just saying like she hates that people say it's romance, because it's not really romance, it's like literary fiction with a romance subplot. And I just wish I would have known that before I went into them, because like the romance wasn't like hitting, like they weren't getting to the point of it, and I was just bored. And I think it's because I literally was in the mood for a rom-com or like a romance, and I picked up that book thinking it was, and it wasn't. So like I just feel like I have to read her books when I'm in the mood for that type of book. And I have heard nothing but good things about Happy Place, and it came out recently, so I just want to try it. Oh, also my sister read Happy Place and she gave it 5 stars, but she's also a very high rater. Like literally when I go in her Goodreads, all of her books are rated like 4 to 5 stars. My Goodreads, it's like 2 stars, 3 stars, maybe some 4, maybe some 5, like rarely 5. She's just a very high rater, so I never know with her. Like I can never take her word for it, because like every single book she reads is a 5 star. Most anticipated release for the rest of 2023. I wish I could put this book in here, but it comes out in January of 2024. But if you know, you know. 3rd installment of Crescent City. I have not finished Throne of Glass yet, and I haven't started Crescent City. I'm reading Throne of Glass right now, like in the middle of it, and then I'm reading Crescent City. But I've heard some things about how everything connects with the Massiverse, and I just need it in my life. I need it in my life, and I need another ACOTAR book. I hope that the next book she writes is an ACOTAR book. Fingers crossed. I think I have 2 for this. So we have the, what's it called? The Graham Effect? I think it's called The Graham Effect, and it's about Hannah and Garrett Graham's kid from the Off-Campus series. I'm really excited for that one, because I have no idea like what it's gonna be about. Like, is it gonna be about another sports romance? I have no idea, but I cannot wait. And then the second one is the second book in the, I don't even know what the series is called, but it's like the second book after Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I think it's called Wildfire. Can't wait for that one either, because I loved Icebreaker. Question number 5 is biggest disappointment. I actually have a video coming out soon that's going to be me ranking all the books I've read so far this year. So the first one is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. This was a disappointment because a lot of people I like to watch on YouTube, and I saw it on TikTok, like were hyping up this book and talking about how good it was. I was excited to read it, and me and my sister actually bought this book together, and then she came over and we read it together, and it just wasn't that good, honestly. Like, I gave it 2 stars just because it was entertaining. I obviously read the whole thing, but it just wasn't the best. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, it was just kind of immature, to be honest, and cringy, and there was parts that weren't supposed to be funny, but I was dying laughing, so yeah. Then the next book was actually a disappointment, because I was super excited for this series because a lot of people love this series. I mean, I did hear that the first book is probably the worst of the series, and that's Twisted Love. I read this, I'm pretty sure, in the beginning of the year. Yeah, I think this is like one of the first books I read this year, and I just didn't love it. The guy in this book ruined the book for me. Like, the girl, she wasn't bad, but the guy, he ruined the whole book. He was the worst book boyfriend. I can handle when guys are very protective and kind of scary at times with other people, but he took it to a whole other level. Like, he took it to like almost murderer vibes, you know what I'm saying? The ending, we're not even gonna talk about the ending. That was just so cringe. But I read the second book, Twisted Games. That book made up for this book, in my opinion. Okay, question number 6 is biggest surprise. Again, I don't have it. It's Daisy Jones and the Six. How much I love that book. Like, I did not expect myself to love that book as much as I did, just because, like I said, like, it's not a genre I normally read, and it just shocked me that I loved it as much as I did. Question number 7 is new favorite author. I think everyone can see where this is going. Sarah J. Maas. Like, hello? She is literally a mastermind. Like, how do you even think to write 3 completely different series, 3 completely different fantasy series, and just be like, I'm gonna sneak in little Easter eggs, little words, sentences, sneaky things that nobody and their mom would pick up on, and connect all of these books and connect all of these series. Because then when you know that that's how it happens, when you read the books, you pay attention so much more, because you want to pick up on those little things that she sprinkles into the books to connect them. Because normally when I read books, some boring parts I'll literally just skim, because I'm just like, I don't need to have a description of what the house looks like for 4 pages. So I'm just gonna skim, because I'm just gonna imagine what the house looks like in my head anyway, so I don't really need someone to explain that to me. But with Sarah J. Maas, you have to pay attention to every word, every sentence, every description, everything, because it might come back to be important 20 books down the line. That's just how it works. I was watching Carrie Can Read like break down the ACOTAR series. She was like saying every little, like she was saying like random details that like probably doesn't sound like it matters, but then she'd be like, I just have to add this in because knowing Sarah J. Maas, it's gonna matter like 10 books down the line, so like I just have to add in that she put this like little sprinkle of detail that like doesn't seem like it matters, but it probably will. So yeah, like the book that made me realize that, like, oh my god, she's such a creative genius, is A Quarter Silver Flames, because I didn't love that book that much for the plot. Like, the plot was kind of random for me. Like, it felt like all the other books we were going through kind of like a steady increase of plot, and then you get to the last book and it's like we're on a totally different like adventure, but it makes sense because we're following different characters, but like it was just random to me. Like, it felt like it felt like completely separate from the rest of the books, but I still loved it, but it just like was a little confusing. And also, I mean, the whole series was written in first person, and then you get to A Quarter Silver Flames and it's in third person, so it was kind of random, but I still liked it. But the reason that book made me realize is because there was so much extra stuff. There were so many unanswered questions that just makes you think all the time. And like sometimes randomly I'll just be laying in bed and something will pop up in my head about something that happened in A Quarter Silver Flames that was kind of just like brushed over or kind of just said in passing, and I think about it and I'm like, wait, what does that mean? Like, there just has to be so many more books in this series to answer all these questions that I have, and like there's so many characters in that series that we haven't even like brushed the surface of them. Like, I just know that there's so much more to so many of the like side characters that are gonna become more important. Like, I just know it. But anyway, I'm gonna stop on my Sarah J. Maas rant because I could go forever, but that's my new favorite author. Okay, If things look different, because my battery died, I had to charge it for a little bit. I only charged it for a little, so it's probably gonna die again. But I have my other one on the charger, so hopefully I'll just keep going back and forth. All right. Next question I was on was newest fictional crush. All of these questions are literally going to be the same book, same answer, but I mean, what can you do? I'm answering honestly. It's Rhysand from Actar. Oh my god, I cannot stop talking about this series. I'm gonna keep it brief, okay? Rhysand, just, if you have read it, you know why. If you haven't read it, read it, then you'll know why. Newest favorite character. All right, I'm gonna pick something different because I could literally answer all of these questions about the same book, so I'm gonna pick something different. Oh, I have mine. Okay, this is from the Throne of Glass series, still Sarah J Maas, different series though. I like Dorian. I love Dorian. Like, I'm still not into a lot of the books, so I just can't wait until he has more character development and we get to know him a little bit more, because I just know I'm gonna love him. I already love him, and I'm only on like, I'm technically on book 4, but the reading order I'm reading it in, I'm on book 3. I just love him. I don't know. I think like there's something about him that has me like wondering more about him, because I love the way he is now, but I kind of just want to know more of his backstory and more about like what he is going to become. And I just know he's going to be like a big part of this series, and I know I'm going to love him. Hopefully he doesn't switch up and become a bad character. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. I have a lot of books that made me cry. I mean, if we just go through all the books that made me cry this year, Addicted After All, which is Lily and Lo's last book in the Addicted series, that made me cry. Things We Never Got Over made me cry. The ending, there's a line that's in the book. I'm not going to say it because if you read this book and you read that line, it's just going to hit so much harder when you don't know it's there. So I'm not going to say it, but if you know, you know. Obviously, Akamov, cried. Echo War, bawled like a baby. Daisy Jones, bawled like a baby. Definitely the worst one was Daisy Jones though. That one was really bad. I thought I was never going to recover from that book, and I still haven't. So it impacted me. A book that made you happy. A book that made me really happy and like just giddy, which is random, is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. It's such a random book to make me happy, but like it was like the energy of that book, the characters, the town, the tropes. Like that book just made me giddy. Like, I don't know, it was like a feel-good book. Yeah. Number 12, favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen so far this year. So the only one I've seen so far this year is Daisy Jones. It's the only one I've watched so far. I know there's more that like books I've read that have become series or movies. I just haven't watched them, but that's the only one I've watched. Favorite post you've written this year? I don't know what that means, but I posted a video on TikTok a couple days ago, and I'll put me and my sister's book talk down below, but I'm not gonna play it all because I'll get copyrighted, but it kind of looks like this. That one took me forever and I loved it, so I don't know if that is what that question meant, but that's what I took it as. Number 14, most beautiful book you've bought this year. Not that I've read, but that I've bought. Most beautiful book. To give it to this one. I haven't read it yet, but it's so cute. Things We Hide from the Light. This is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. It's just pretty. Pink, flowers, cute. Number 15, what books do you really need to read by the end of the year? First of all, I need to read all of Sarah J Maas. I need to finish Throne of Glass, and I need to read the 2 books in the Crescent City series because the next book comes out literally in January, so I need to finish it so I can read the next book. And then also books I want to read. I do want to read this one. I did start it, but I really want to read it because third book comes out. I think it comes out this year. And then I want to finish the Addicted Calloway Sister series. I have 3 books left. I have Fuel the Fire, Long Way Down, and then Some Kind of Perfect. And yeah, I think that's really it. That is all the questions for this book tag. I have a lot of different videos coming out soon. This is my first video. Also, my sister is gonna be posting videos on this channel, so I think we're gonna try to do 4 times a week. So I'm gonna have 2 days, she's gonna have 2 days, and then when we come together, because she lives with my mom, when we do come together and she comes over to my dad's, then we will film together. And then also you can follow us on our booktok, so you can see when we post on there. And then I'll also put our Goodreads down below so you can see what we're reading. And yeah, but be on the lookout for my videos coming out soon, because I'm going to be filming a lot of videos today just so I can have them to upload. But thank you for watching, and I'm super excited for this channel. Hope you are too, and bye!